When I look into the mirror, I see me. I know that's an easy answer, or it seems like a very simple answer, but at the age of 52, I'm happy that I see me. What does that exactly mean in detail? For me, growing up in a household where watching my mother get the crap beat out of her every day. So that taught me at a very early age to be independent and to strive to be me. And it was several different me's all put together. In school, I was the perfect me, straight A student, a cheerleader, captain of the cheerleading team, the first black captain of the cheerleading team, by the way. And then at home, that meant learning how to be not so much quiet, but trying to do whatever I could to keep the daily abuse at a minimum. And growing up in the 70s, domestic violence wasn't talked about. So keeping that secret from your friends and, the church, especially the black church, didn't quite understand, didn't quite support. Well, if your mom would cook more, if your mom wasn't working, if your mom, all of these excuses that I knew even then at my age that it didn't sit well with me. And I think, growing up in that type of environment just made me want to figure out who I was outside of my family, outside of the school. And that was a real struggle. I think in the early age of Lisa, I went overboard. I don't need a man to do anything. I depend 100% on myself. And then trying to find that balance of, being comfortable in your own skin and being vulnerable, but at the same time being a strong woman. That was a real struggle. I'm divorced. My ex-husband and I are great friends, and I am so very thankful that he and I married, even though I was young at 22. And I believe God put him in my life for a reason, and he knew how I was raised. So he never raised his voice. He never called me out of my name, even in anger. And just taught me that a man could be all those things that you hear good men, about all the time, talk about all the time. I did have a strong grandfather. I did have a strong uncles, but still, everyone knew in my family what was going on, and no one stepped up to do anything about it. So that's sort of hard, even at my age now. Like, you knew what was going on, you loved your sister, but yet you let all that go. Happen. Growing up, even though it was my stepfather who was, physically, mentally, sexually abusing my mom. I remember as a kid. See, you're about to make me mess up my makeup, just so you know. I remember as a kid, 11, 12, you could hear through the air vents him raping her. And, growing up and, listening to that, and at the same time going home, which was in Baltimore, to spend the summers with my grandparents, and hearing the way my grandfather talked to my grandmother. They had 7 kids, and 3 women, 4 sons. 2 out of the 4 were abusers. My grandfather did put his hands on my grandmother, and she fought back. She was small, like barely 5 feet, but feisty. But it was still, looking back now, definitely a violent upbringing, and it was okay. The man was always in charge of the household, the family, and even at a young age, I was like not doing it. It was not going to happen to me. So, getting married young, having a daughter young, I was a freshman in college. I tease her now. She's 33, graduated from Columbia. I tease her that she was so smart because I got locked up in college. So that's our little family joke, but I'm extremely proud of her. 5 years later, I had a son, extremely proud of him. He leaves in August for grad school for film. So, I did all right, but that struggle and learning how to be me and what that means. Even getting dressed for this shoot today, I'm like, how do I feel today? And I love that feeling. Some days I walk out the house in ripped jeans, leather jacket, high boots. Then other days I come in and I look like this. So learning that struggle, and even in my workplace, it's a definite male-dominated society, and learning how to be strong and how to be me. I'm bubbly, I'm enthusiastic, but I can still write you up and fire you at the same time and give you a hug and wish you well out the door. So learning how to be all of those different facets of me, it's an everyday journey, and I'm very self-aware of it, and I'm just happy that when I look in that mirror, I see me.